In a sprawling city where skyscrapers pierced the clouds and cars honked endlessly on jam-packed streets, Liam Carter lived a quiet life. He wasn't rich or famous, but he was someone who mattered in small yet significant ways. Every day, he donned his uniform as an emergency medical technician, EMT, and rushed to help people in need. It wasn't glamorous work, but it gave him purpose, a chance to make a difference when others felt helpless. Liam's story hadn't always been this way. Once upon a time, he dreamed of greatness. As a teenager, he excelled in school, earning top grades and impressing teachers with his sharp mind and innovative ideas. Engineering fascinated him. He loved solving problems and building things that could change lives. His dream was simple: create technology that would make the world better. Back then, he had everything going for him: a bright future, supportive parents, and even friends who admired him. One of those friends was Ethan Blackwood. Growing up, Ethan and Liam were inseparable. They bonded over their shared love for science fairs and late-night brainstorming sessions about futuristic inventions. While Liam brought creativity and technical skill to the table, Ethan added ambition and charisma. Together, they seemed unstoppable. But friendships like theirs are fragile, especially when jealousy creeps in. During their final year of college, something happened that shattered their bond forever. A project Liam had worked tirelessly on, a groundbreaking concept for renewable energy, was stolen. Someone leaked false evidence claiming Liam had plagiarized the idea from another student. The accusation spread quickly, tarnished his reputation, and led to his expulsion. Devastated and humiliated, Liam left college without finishing his degree. For years he believed the theft was random, an act of bad luck, but deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that someone close to him might have been involved. While Liam struggled to rebuild his life, Ethan soared to unimaginable heights. After graduating, he founded a tech company that skyrocketed in value, making him one of the richest men in the country. Known for his ruthless business tactics and icy demeanor, Ethan became a household name. Yet behind the polished exterior lay shadows of guilt. He rarely spoke about his past, particularly the friend he once called his closest ally. Years passed, and Liam found solace in his work as an EMT. Though his dreams of becoming an engineer faded, he still cared deeply about helping others. Each call he responded to reminded him of why he chose this path: to save lives and ease suffering. Little did he know, fate had plans to bring his old life crashing back into focus. It was a chilly evening when Liam received a dispatch alert. The address caught his attention immediately: a luxury penthouse in the most exclusive part of the city. When he arrived, the scene inside was chaotic. Housekeepers and security guards hovered anxiously around a frail woman lying motionless on the marble floor. Her face was pale, her breathing faint. This was Evelyn Blackwood, the mother of none other than Ethan Blackwood. Without wasting a second, Liam sprang into action. He assessed her condition and realized she was having a heart attack. Using his training, he administered CPR and stabilized her until paramedics arrived. The entire ordeal lasted only minutes, but those moments felt like hours. By the time Evelyn was safely loaded into the ambulance, Liam's hands trembled with exhaustion. Still, he knew he'd done everything he could. As word of Evelyn's rescue reached Ethan, panic turned to relief and then curiosity. When he arrived home later that night, he learned the identity of the man who had saved his mother's life. At first, disbelief washed over him. Could it really be Liam? The same Liam he hadn't seen or spoken to in over a decade? Memories flooded back. Memories of laughter, collaboration, and ultimately betrayal. Guilt gnawed at him as he recalled the role he played in ruining Liam's life. Ethan tried to push the thoughts aside. What mattered now was his mother's recovery. Yet, he couldn't ignore the irony of owing her life to the very person he had wronged so many years ago. As he sat alone in his study, staring out at the glittering city skyline, he wondered if this twist of fate was merely coincidence or something more. For Liam, the night ended like any other shift. He returned to his modest apartment, exhausted but content knowing he'd made a difference. He didn't think twice about the patient's last name or the luxurious penthouse. To him, it was just another day doing what he loved. But little did he know this encounter would set off a chain of events that would change both his life and Ethan's forever. The next morning, Liam woke up with a sense of determination. He dug out an old envelope from the back of his closet, its contents weighing heavily on his mind. For years, he'd kept these documents hidden, unsure if he'd ever use them. Now, though, he felt compelled to confront the truth. Not for revenge, but for closure. With the envelope tucked under his arm, he headed toward the Blackwood estate, ready to face the past head-on. What awaited him there would alter the course of his life in ways he never imagined. The evening air was crisp as Liam stepped out of the ambulance, his mind still replaying the events of the night. Saving Evelyn Blackwood's life had been like any other emergency call, except for one detail: her last name. It wasn't until later that he realized the significance of who she was and how deeply connected her family was to his own past. For now, though, Liam pushed those thoughts aside. His job was done, and he simply wanted to go home, grab a warm meal, and rest. Meanwhile, Ethan Blackwood paced anxiously in his study, his phone clutched tightly in his hand. He had been in the middle of an important business meeting when he received the call about his mother. The news hit him like a freight train. Evelyn wasn't just his mother. She was the one constant source of love and stability in his life. Despite his reputation as a cold, calculating billionaire, Ethan adored her more than anything. She had always believed in him even when no one else did, including himself. When Ethan finally arrived at the hospital, relief washed over him as the doctors assured him that Evelyn would recover. But something lingered in his mind, a nagging curiosity about the man who had saved her life. The staff described him as calm, efficient, and skilled under pressure. They mentioned his name casually: Liam Carter. At first, Ethan dismissed it as coincidence. There were probably dozens of EMTs named Liam in the city. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that this might be his Liam, the boy he once called his best friend. The next morning, Ethan decided to visit his mother at the hospital. Evelyn lay in her bed, looking frail but alert. Her eyes lit up when she saw him, and she reached out to hold his hand. "Ethan, my dear," she said softly, "you must thank that young man who saved me. Without him, I don't think I'd be here." Ethan nodded, forcing a smile. "Of course, Mother. I'll make sure to do that." But inside his emotions churned, gratitude warred with guilt. If it really was Liam, then Ethan owed him far more than a simple thank you. He owed him an apology for years of silence, for the betrayal that destroyed Liam's dreams, and for the countless nights Liam must have spent wondering why his life fell apart. Later that day, Ethan returned to the penthouse determined to uncover the truth. He summoned his assistant and asked for details about the EMT who responded to the emergency. Within minutes, a file appeared on his desk. There was no mistaking the photo or the name: Liam Carter. The picture showed a man who looked older, wearier, but unmistakably familiar. Ethan stared at it for a long time, memories flooding back, like waves crashing against a shore. He remembered their late-night conversations about building a better future. He remembered the excitement they shared whenever they came up with a new idea. And most painfully, he remembered the day everything changed, the day he betrayed Liam. Back then, jealousy had consumed him. Liam's brilliance intimidated him, and Ethan feared being overshadowed. So he made a choice, one he regretted every single day since. As Ethan wrestled with his thoughts, there was a knock at the door. His butler entered, announcing that Liam Carter had arrived and requested a private meeting. Ethan froze. He hadn't expected Liam to come here, let alone so soon. For a moment, he considered refusing to see him. What could Liam possibly want? A confrontation? Revenge? Or worse, blackmail? But something stopped him. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was curiosity. Whatever it was, Ethan told the butler to show Liam in. Moments later, the man himself walked into the room. Liam looked different from the carefree teenager Ethan once knew. His face bore lines of hardship, and his clothes were plain and practical. Yet there was a quiet strength in his demeanor, a resilience that spoke volumes about the person he had become. "Ethan," Liam said, his voice steady but not unkind. "I didn't expect to see you again after all these years." Ethan hesitated before responding. "Neither did I. You saved my mother's life last night." "Thank you." Liam nodded. "It's my job. I'm just glad I could help." An awkward silence hung between them. Finally, Liam broke it by holding out a weathered envelope. "I didn't come here for thanks," he said. "I came because we need to settle something that's been hanging over both of us for too long." Ethan's heart sank. He already suspected what the envelope contained, but hearing Liam say it aloud sent a chill down his spine. Slowly, he took the envelope and opened it. Inside were documents, emails, notes, and official records that proved beyond a doubt what Ethan had always feared. Liam's expulsion from college had been orchestrated by none other than Ethan himself. Ethan felt sick. His hands trembled as he flipped through the pages. Every accusation, every piece of evidence pointed directly at him. How had Liam managed to gather all of this? And why had he waited so long to reveal it? "I found these years ago," Liam explained, his tone calm but firm. "At first I thought about exposing you, but revenge isn't who I am. I moved on, or at least I tried to. Still, knowing the truth ate away at me. I couldn't keep living like that. So I came here to give you a chance to face it." Ethan swallowed hard, struggling to find words. "Liam, I can't tell you how sorry I am. What I did was unforgivable. I was selfish, jealous, and stupid. I ruined your life." "You did," Liam agreed bluntly. "But that's not why I'm here. Like I said, I don't want revenge. I want closure. And maybe a chance to start over." Ethan looked at him stunned. After everything he had done, Liam was offering him a way out. It seemed impossible. Yet, there was sincerity in Liam's eyes, a glimmer of hope that perhaps forgiveness was still within reach. Before Ethan could respond, Liam added, "There's something else you need to see." He pulled out another set of papers from the envelope. These weren't about the plagiarism scandal. They were blueprints, sketches, and detailed notes for a revolutionary clean energy project. As Ethan scanned the documents, his jaw dropped. This technology, it was groundbreaking, and it looked eerily similar to the cornerstone of Ethan's billion-dollar empire. "This is yours?" Ethan asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "It was mine," Liam corrected. "Back in college, I designed this system. You know it as the foundation of your company's success. But I never stopped working on it. Even after everything that happened, I kept refining the concept. Now, I have something even better, an innovation that could change the world." Ethan sat back in his chair, overwhelmed. Not only had Liam uncovered the truth about the past, but he also held the key to the future. The implications were staggering. If Liam chose to expose him, Ethan's entire empire would crumble. But instead of threatening ruin, Liam offered a proposition: partnership. "What do you want?" Ethan asked cautiously. "I want you to fund my project," Liam replied. "Not for me, but for the greater good. Together we can make a real impact. In return, I'll keep these documents hidden. No one needs to know what happened, not unless you force my hand." Ethan stared at him, torn between disbelief and admiration. Here was a man who had every reason to hate him, yet he chose compassion over vengeance. For the first time in years, Ethan felt a flicker of hope, not just for redemption, but for a second chance to do something meaningful with his life. "All right," Ethan said finally. "Let's do it." And with that decision, two estranged friends began a journey neither of them could have anticipated, a journey toward healing, innovation, and ultimately transformation. Ethan's decision to partner with Liam wasn't made lightly. For hours after their meeting, he sat alone in his study, staring at the documents Liam had left behind. The weight of what he had done, and what he stood to lose, pressed heavily on him. Memories of the past swirled in his mind, the betrayal, the stolen ideas, and the years of silence that followed. Yet, there was something else lingering beneath the guilt, a spark of admiration for the man Liam had become. Liam hadn't come to Ethan seeking revenge or even justice. Instead, he offered a way forward, a chance for both of them to move beyond the pain of the past and work toward something greater than themselves. It was an unexpected act of grace, one that forced Ethan to confront not only his actions but also the kind of person he wanted to be moving forward. The next morning, Ethan called Liam to arrange a meeting. He suggested they meet at a quiet cafe, downtown, away from prying eyes and media attention. When Liam arrived, he looked calm and composed, though there was a hint of caution in his expression. Ethan couldn't blame him. After all, trust between them had been shattered long ago. "Thank you for coming," Ethan began, his voice steady but tinged with unease. "I've thought about what you said, and I want to make this partnership work." Liam nodded slowly, studying Ethan's face. "I'm glad to hear that, but let's be clear, this isn't just about us. If we're going to do this, it has to be about making a difference. That's why I kept working on the project, even when no one believed in me." Ethan felt a pang of shame. He knew exactly how much Liam had sacrificed over the years, the dreams he'd put aside, the struggles he endured. And yet, despite everything, Liam still carried a vision for the future that inspired hope. It was humbling, to say the least. Over coffee, they began discussing the details of the project. Liam explained that his new design focused on harnessing renewable energy in ways that were more efficient and sustainable than anything currently available. Unlike traditional methods, which relied heavily on bulky equipment and expensive materials, Liam's system used advanced nanotechnology to convert sunlight into energy at unprecedented rates. The potential applications were vast, ranging from powering entire cities to providing affordable electricity to remote areas. As Liam spoke, Ethan found himself captivated, not just by the technical brilliance of the concept, but by the passion behind it. This wasn't just another business venture, it was a mission, and for the first time in years, Ethan felt genuinely excited about something other than profit margins. "I'll fund the project fully," Ethan said firmly. "Whatever resources you need, labs, engineers, testing facilities, they're yours. My team will support you every step of the way." Liam raised an eyebrow, surprised by Ethan's enthusiasm. "That's generous, but I don't want your money without strings attached. Let's set some ground rules. First, this project stays true to its original purpose, helping people. No cutting corners, no exploiting loopholes. Second, we share credit equally. You may have the funds, but this idea is mine." Ethan hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Fair enough. I wouldn't expect anything less." With the foundation of their partnership laid out, they shook hands, a gesture that felt both familiar and foreign. It was a small step toward rebuilding trust, but it carried immense significance. For Liam, it meant reclaiming a piece of his identity that had been stolen from him. For Ethan, it meant taking responsibility for his mistakes and striving to be better. As weeks turned into months, the two men dove headfirst into the project. They rented a state-of-the-art research facility and assembled a team of experts to bring Liam's designs to life. At first, working together was awkward. Old tensions lingered beneath the surface, threatening to resurface at any moment. But as they collaborated, focusing on the shared goal of creating something extraordinary, those barriers began to fade. Ethan proved to be a valuable ally, leveraging his connections and resources to accelerate the project's progress. He introduced Liam to influential figures in the scientific community, secured permits for large-scale testing, and handled logistical challenges that would have overwhelmed anyone else. In return, Liam brought innovation and creativity to the table, pushing boundaries and challenging conventional thinking. Their dynamic evolved over time. What started as a reluctant alliance blossomed into genuine respect. Ethan admired Liam's unwavering dedication and ability to inspire others. Liam, in turn, recognized the sincerity in Ethan's efforts to make amends. Though forgiveness didn't come easily, it became clear that Ethan was trying to change, not just for Liam's sake, but for his own. One evening, as they reviewed data from a recent experiment, Ethan broke the silence. "Do you ever wonder what might have happened if things had gone differently? If we'd stayed friends?" Liam paused, considering the question. "Sometimes. But dwelling on what ifs doesn't help anyone. What matters is what we do now, with the time and opportunities we have. Ethan nodded thoughtfully. You're right, and maybe this is our chance to fix what went wrong. Not just between us, but in the world. Liam smiled faintly. That's the spirit. Despite their growing camaraderie, challenges persisted. Developing cutting-edge technology is never easy, and setbacks were inevitable. Equipment malfunctioned, prototypes failed, and funding occasionally fell short. Each obstacle tested their resolve, forcing them to dig deeper and push harder. Yet through it all, they remained committed to their shared vision. One breakthrough came when they successfully tested a prototype capable of generating enough energy to power a small village. The results exceeded their expectations, sparking excitement among the team. News of their achievement spread quickly, drawing attention from investors, scientists, and environmental advocates alike. Suddenly, Liam and Ethan weren't just rebuilding their relationship, they were reshaping the future of renewable energy. Amid the whirlwind of success, Evelyn Blackwood played an unexpected role. Having recovered from her heart attack, she took a keen interest in the project. Her gentle encouragement and wisdom reminded both men of the importance of humility and compassion. She often joined them during brainstorming sessions, offering insights that bridged the gap between science and humanity. You're doing incredible work, she told them one afternoon. But remember, it's not just about the technology. It's about the lives you'll touch. Keep that in mind, and you'll never lose sight of what truly matters. Her words resonated deeply with Liam and Ethan, reinforcing their commitment to using their talents for good. Slowly but surely, they transformed from rivals bound by guilt and regret into partners united by purpose and hope. By the time the project reached its final stages, the bond between Liam and Ethan had grown stronger than either of them could have imagined. They weren't just colleagues or collaborators. They were friends again, forged anew through adversity and mutual respect. Together, they prepared to unveil their creation to the world, knowing that this was only the beginning of a journey that would redefine their lives forever. The day of the unveiling arrived, and anticipation buzzed through the air like electricity. Months of relentless work had led to this moment, the launch of Liam and Ethan's revolutionary renewable energy system. The event was held in a massive conference hall filled with reporters, scientists, investors, and environmental activists from around the globe. Cameras flashed, microphones were set up, and screens displayed dazzling visuals of the technology that promised to change the world. Liam stood backstage adjusting his tie nervously. Despite years of preparation for moments like this, public speaking wasn't his strong suit. He preferred working quietly behind the scenes, tinkering with designs and solving problems. But today, he knew he couldn't stay hidden. This project wasn't just about him. It represented hope for millions of people who lacked access to clean, affordable energy. It was bigger than any one person, including himself. Ethan noticed Liam's unease and walked over to him. "You ready?" he asked, offering an encouraging smile. "As ready as I'll ever be," Liam replied with a wry grin. "Just don't let me trip on my way to the podium." Ethan chuckled. "If you do, I'll make sure the cameras catch me instead." Their lighthearted banter eased some of the tension between them. Over the past months, their partnership had evolved into something neither of them expected: genuine friendship. While trust took time to rebuild fully, they now shared a mutual respect and understanding that went beyond business. For Liam, it meant seeing Ethan not as the rival who betrayed him, but as someone capable of growth and redemption. For Ethan, it meant proving to himself and others that he could rise above his past mistakes. When it was time to begin, Ethan stepped onto the stage first. As the CEO of Blackwood Technologies, he was accustomed to commanding attention. Yet today felt different. Instead of focusing on profits or market dominance, he spoke passionately about the importance of innovation, driven by purpose. "Good morning, everyone," Ethan began, his voice steady and confident. "Today marks a turning point, not just for our company, but for humanity itself. For too long, we've relied on outdated systems that harm our planet and leave countless communities without access to basic necessities like electricity. But thanks to the brilliance of one man, someone who refused to give up despite facing unimaginable challenges, we now have a solution. He gestured toward Liam, inviting him to join him on stage. Applause erupted as Liam walked forward, looking slightly overwhelmed by the spotlight. When the clapping subsided, Ethan continued, "Allow me to introduce Liam Carter, the visionary behind this groundbreaking technology. Without his persistence, creativity, and unwavering belief in a better future, none of this would be possible." Liam nodded gratefully at Ethan before addressing the crowd. His voice trembled at first, but as he spoke, it grew stronger. "Thank you all for being here today. This project is more than just a product. It's proof that when we work together, we can overcome even the greatest obstacles. Renewable energy isn't just about reducing carbon emissions, it's about empowering people. Imagine villages that no longer rely on dangerous kerosene lamps, schools where children can study after sunset, hospitals equipped with reliable power sources. These are the real-world impacts of what we've created." Behind him, a video played, showcasing how the new system worked. It demonstrated its compact design, efficiency, and adaptability to various environments, from urban rooftops to rural fields. The audience watched in awe as simulations showed entire cities powered entirely by sustainable energy. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the room as people realized the magnitude of what they were witnessing. After the presentation ended, the Q&A session began. Reporters fired questions rapidly, eager to learn more about the technology and its implications. One journalist asked Liam how he managed to develop such a complex system while working as an EMT. Liam smiled humbly and said, "It wasn't easy. There were nights when I wondered if I was wasting my time, but I kept reminding myself why I started this journey, to help people. That motivation kept me going, even during the toughest times." Another reporter turned to Ethan. "Mr. Blackwood, your company has faced criticism in the past for prioritizing profits over sustainability. How does this project fit into your broader vision for the future?" Ethan paused, considering the question carefully. "I won't deny that I've made mistakes," he admitted honestly. "But sometimes life gives us opportunities to course correct. Partnering with Liam taught me that true success isn't measured by wealth or influence. It's measured by the positive impact we have on others. From now on, Blackwood Technologies will focus on projects that align with our values: innovation, integrity, and service to humanity." The sincerity in Ethan's words resonated with the audience, earning applause. Many attendees later remarked that they'd never seen Ethan so vulnerable or inspiring before. As the event concluded, Liam and Ethan mingled with guests, answering additional questions and discussing potential collaborations. Scientists expressed interest in further research, while investors offered funding for large-scale implementation. Environmental groups praised the initiative as a model for combating climate change. Even skeptics found themselves won over by the undeniable potential of the technology. However, amidst the excitement, there was one person whose reaction mattered most to Liam: Evelyn Blackwood. She sat in the front row throughout the presentation, her eyes shining with pride. Afterward, she approached Liam and embraced him warmly. "You've done something extraordinary," she said softly, "not just with this invention, but with Ethan. You've helped him become the man he was always meant to be." Liam shook his head modestly. "He did the hard part. All I did was remind him of what really matters." Evelyn smiled knowingly. Sometimes reminders are exactly what people need. Backstage, as the crowd dispersed, Ethan joined Liam. "Well," he said, leaning against a wall, "that went better than I expected." Liam laughed. Understatement of the year. They all stood in comfortable silence for a moment, reflecting on everything they'd accomplished together. Then Ethan broke the quiet. "Do you think maybe we should keep going? Expand the project? Tackle other global issues?" Liam looked at him thoughtfully. "You mean like starting a foundation?" "Exactly," Ethan replied. "We could Use our resources to support underprivileged students pursuing careers in STEM. People like you, people who might not get the chance otherwise. For Liam, the idea struck a chord. He remembered the loneliness and frustration of feeling abandoned by the system. If they could provide opportunities for others to succeed, perhaps fewer people would experience the hardships he endured. "I'm in," Liam said firmly. "But only if we do it right. No shortcuts, no compromises, just pure intent." Ethan nodded. "Agreed." Over the following weeks, they drafted plans for the Blackwood Carter Foundation. Its mission was clear: to empower the next generation of innovators by providing scholarships, mentorship programs, and funding for groundbreaking research. They announced the initiative at a press conference, emphasizing their commitment to using technology as a force for good. Public response was overwhelmingly positive. Social media lit up with messages of support, and donations poured in from individuals and corporations alike. What started as a personal reconciliation between two men had grown into a movement, a beacon of hope for a brighter, more equitable future. Through it all, Liam and Ethan remained grounded. They celebrated their achievements but stayed focused on the work ahead. Their partnership proved that redemption is possible, even in the face of betrayal. And their story served as a reminder that when people choose collaboration over conflict, they can achieve extraordinary things, not just for themselves, but for the world. As they stood side by side at the Foundation's ribbon-cutting ceremony, Liam glanced at Ethan and smiled. "Who would have thought we'd end up here?" Ethan grinned back. "Life has a funny way of surprising us." And with that, they stepped forward together, ready to embrace whatever came next. The months following the launch of the Blackwood Carter Foundation were a whirlwind of activity. Liam and Ethan threw themselves into their new mission with the same intensity that had driven their groundbreaking renewable energy project. Together, they traveled across the country, sometimes even internationally, to speak at schools, universities, and community centers about the importance of STEM education and innovation. Their message resonated deeply with audiences. No matter where you come from or what challenges you face, creativity and determination can lead to incredible achievements. For Liam, these outreach efforts felt like coming full circle. Growing up, he'd been inspired by stories of inventors and scientists who overcame adversity to make a difference. Now, he was becoming one of those role models for others. Whether it was mentoring high school students in underserved neighborhoods or delivering keynote speeches at tech conferences, Liam poured his heart into every interaction. He wanted young people to see that success wasn't reserved for the privileged few. It was attainable for anyone willing to work hard and believe in themselves. Ethan, too, found renewed purpose in their shared endeavor. For years, his life had revolved around wealth, power, and maintaining his image as a cutthroat businessman. But working alongside Liam reminded him of the values he'd long neglected. Values like empathy, integrity, and service. The foundation gave him an opportunity to channel his resources and influence toward meaningful causes, rather than personal gain. And while he still ran Blackwood Technologies, he approached leadership differently now. Employees noticed the change. Ethan became more approachable, more collaborative, and genuinely invested in fostering a culture of innovation within the company. One of the Foundation's first major initiatives was establishing scholarships for students pursuing degrees in science, engineering, and environmental studies. Applications poured in from all over the world, each one telling a unique story of resilience and ambition. Reading through them, Liam and Ethan couldn't help but feel humbled. There were aspiring engineers from rural towns with limited access to advanced coursework, budding biologists determined to tackle global health crises, and future architects dreaming of designing sustainable cities. Every application reinforced the importance of what they were doing. To ensure fairness and transparency, they assembled a panel of experts, including educators, industry leaders, and former scholarship recipients, to review submissions. When the winners were announced, Liam and Ethan personally contacted each recipient to congratulate them. Many of these students expressed disbelief at being chosen, sharing how much the financial support meant to them. Some admitted they'd almost given up on their dreams due to financial constraints or lack of guidance. Hearing those words only strengthened Liam and Ethan's resolve to expand the program further. But the foundation didn't stop at scholarships. Recognizing that mentorship is just as crucial as funding, they launched a network connecting young innovators with experienced professionals in their fields. Through workshops, internships, and one-on-one coaching sessions, participants gained invaluable insights and skills that textbooks alone couldn't teach. One particularly memorable workshop brought together a group of teenagers to design solutions for real-world problems, such as water scarcity and air pollution. By the end of the session, several teams had developed prototypes so impressive that Ethan immediately offered to fund their continued development. As word spread about the foundation's impact, it attracted attention from unexpected quarters. Celebrities, philanthropists, and even rival companies began reaching out to collaborate. Some donated funds, while others offered expertise or resources. A prominent tech firm partnered with the foundation to create a coding bootcamp specifically for underrepresented groups in the industry. Another corporation pledged to provide free lab equipment to participating schools. These partnerships amplified the foundation's reach, allowing it to touch even more lives. Despite the growing momentum, Liam and Ethan remained hands-on in every aspect of the foundation's operations. They insisted on visiting grant recipients regularly to see firsthand how their contributions were making a difference. During one such visit, they met a teenage girl named Maya, who had won a scholarship to study robotics. Her project, a drone, capable of detecting landmines in war-torn regions, had already garnered international acclaim. As she demonstrated her invention, her passion and confidence shone brightly. Afterward, she thanked Liam and Ethan, saying, "If it weren't for you two, I wouldn't be here today. You've shown me that my ideas matter." Moments like these filled Liam and Ethan with pride, not because they sought recognition, but because they knew they were helping unlock potential that might otherwise have gone untapped. Each success story reaffirmed their belief in the transformative power of education and opportunity. Yet their journey wasn't without challenges. Running a foundation required navigating complex logistics, balancing competing priorities, and addressing criticism from skeptics. Some accused them of using the foundation as a PR stunt to polish Ethan's tarnished reputation. Others questioned whether their efforts would truly address systemic inequalities in STEM education. While these critiques stung, Liam and Ethan chose to view them as constructive feedback rather than personal attacks. They invited critics to join advisory boards, ensuring diverse perspectives shaped the foundation's direction. Through it all, Evelyn Blackwood remained a steadfast source of wisdom and encouragement. Though her health occasionally faltered, she never missed an opportunity to celebrate the foundation's milestones. She often reminded Liam and Ethan that true progress takes time and patience. "Change isn't measured in weeks or months," she told them during one dinner conversation. "It's measured in generations. What you're doing will ripple outward, touching lives far beyond your lifetime." Her words stayed with them, grounding them during moments of doubt. They realized that building something lasting required perseverance and humility, qualities they were both learning to embrace more fully. By the end of the year, the foundation had achieved remarkable milestones. Thousands of students had received scholarships, hundreds of projects had been funded, and countless lives had been transformed. Media outlets hailed it as a model for corporate social responsibility, praising Liam and Ethan for proving that collaboration between unlikely allies could yield extraordinary results. Yet for both men, the greatest reward wasn't the accolades or headlines. It was the sense of fulfillment they derived from knowing they were making a tangible difference. For Liam, it meant reclaiming not just his dignity but also his faith in humanity. For Ethan, it meant finding redemption and purpose after years of living in the shadow of his past mistakes. As they reflected on everything they'd accomplished together, Liam turned to Ethan one evening and said, "You know, when I first came to your penthouse with those papers, I wasn't sure what to expect. Part of me thought you'd fight back, deny everything, maybe even destroy me if you had to. But instead, you chose to listen. And look where we are now." Ethan smiled wistfully. "I think we both made choices we didn't have to make. You chose forgiveness when most people wouldn't have, and I chose to change. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. Their partnership had evolved into something neither could have predicted, a testament to the idea that second chances aren't just possible, they're powerful. Together, they had turned betrayal into trust, guilt into growth, and loss into legacy. And as they stood side by side watching the sun set over the city skyline, they knew this was only the beginning. The road ahead would undoubtedly bring new challenges, but they faced it with unwavering determination, and the knowledge that they were stronger together than they ever were apart. As the years rolled on, the Blackwood Carter Foundation grew into a global force for change. What had started as a small initiative born out of redemption and reconciliation blossomed into an institution that inspired millions. The foundation's impact was felt in classrooms, labs, and communities around the world, transforming lives and reshaping futures. For Liam and Ethan, it wasn't just about numbers or statistics. It was about the stories behind them. Every scholarship awarded, every project funded, and every life touched reminded them why they began this journey in the first place. One of their most ambitious projects came to fruition when they launched a series of innovation hubs across underserved regions. These hubs were more than just buildings. They were vibrant spaces where young minds could gather, experiment, and dream without limits. Equipped with cutting-edge tools, mentorship programs, and access to experts, these centers became breeding grounds for creativity and problem-solving. In rural villages, urban neighborhoods, and conflict-affected areas alike, the hubs sparked a wave of grassroots innovation. Take, for instance, a group of teenagers from a small farming community who developed a low-cost irrigation system powered by solar energy. Their invention not only improved crop yields but also reduced water waste, a solution desperately needed in drought-prone regions. Or consider a team of girls from an inner-city school who created a mobile app connecting homeless individuals with nearby shelters, food banks, and medical services. These innovations weren't just ideas. They were lifelines for people facing some of the toughest challenges imaginable. For Liam, seeing these projects come to life filled him with pride. He often visited the hubs, eager to meet the young innovators and hear their stories. During one such visit, he met a boy named Arjun, whose prosthetic hand design had caught the attention of engineers worldwide. Arjun explained how his younger sister, born without a fully formed arm, inspired him to create something affordable and functional. "I used to think I couldn't do anything to help her," Arjun said shyly. "But then I heard about your foundation and suddenly I realized maybe I could." Liam knelt down to Arjun's level, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You're already doing so much," he said warmly. "Keep going. The world needs people like you." Moments like these reminded Liam of his own journey. The nights spent sketching designs in dimly lit rooms, the setbacks that once seemed insurmountable, and the belief that kept him moving forward. Now he saw that same fire in the eyes of countless others thanks in part to the Foundation's efforts. Ethan, too, found profound meaning in their work. His transformation from a ruthless billionaire to a compassionate advocate for change earned him respect far beyond his business acumen. People marveled at how openly he spoke about his past mistakes and how committed he was to making amends. At conferences and panels, he often shared the story of his betrayal and reconciliation with Liam, urging others to embrace vulnerability and second chances. "When I look back at who I was," Ethan told an audience during one speech, "I see someone consumed by fear and greed, fear of being overshadowed, greed for success at any cost. But meeting Liam again changed everything. He showed me that true strength lies in owning up to your flaws and using your resources to lift others up. If I can do it, anyone can." His words resonated deeply, inspiring individuals and organizations to rethink their priorities. Several major corporations followed Blackwood Technologies' lead, pledging portions of their profits to social causes and adopting ethical practices. Slowly but surely, the ripple effect of their partnership spread, creating a culture of accountability and compassion within industries long criticized for exploitation. Despite their achievements, Liam and Ethan never lost sight of the fact that their journey was rooted in personal healing. Their friendship, forged anew through adversity, continued, to deepen over time. They celebrated milestones together. Ethan attended Liam's wedding, where he gave a heartfelt toast about forgiveness and resilience. Liam, in turn, stood beside Ethan when he launched a new division of his company dedicated entirely to green technologies. Their bond became a testament to the idea that even the most fractured relationships can find redemption if both parties are willing to try. Evelyn Blackwood remained a guiding light throughout their journey. Though her health declined steadily, she lived long enough to witness the foundation's incredible growth. On her final days, she gathered Liam and Ethan by her bedside, her voice frail yet steady. "Promise me one thing," she said, gripping their hands tightly. "Never stop fighting for what's right. The world needs more people like you." Her passing left a void in their lives, but her legacy lived on through the foundation and the values she instilled in them. To honor her memory, they established the Evelyn Blackwood Award, given annually to individuals making exceptional contributions to humanitarian causes. It quickly became one of the most prestigious accolades in the field, further cementing the foundation's reputation as a beacon of hope. Years later, as Liam and Ethan stood side by side at the unveiling of the foundation's headquarters, a sleek, eco-friendly building designed to symbolize progress and sustainability, they reflected on how far they'd come. From enemies bound by guilt and regret to partners united by purpose and trust, their story had taken twists and turns neither could have foreseen. "This place represents more than just our work," Liam said, gazing up at the structure. "It's proof that no matter how broken things seem, there's always a way to rebuild, if you're willing to try." Ethan nodded, smiling. And sometimes, rebuilding isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about creating something better than before. The ceremony drew a diverse crowd: scholars, entrepreneurs, activists, and beneficiaries of the Foundation's programs. As speeches were delivered and applause erupted, Liam and Ethan exchanged a glance. Words weren't necessary. They understood each other perfectly. This moment wasn't theirs alone. It belonged to everyone who had contributed to the Foundation's success. In the end, their story wasn't just about two men overcoming betrayal. It was about the power of forgiveness, the importance of collaboration, and the boundless potential of humanity when given the chance to thrive. Together, Liam and Ethan proved that even the darkest chapters can lead to brighter tomorrows, if we choose to write them that way. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden hues over the city, they stepped away from the crowd and walked toward the edge of the property. The skyline stretched endlessly before them, a reminder of all they had built and all that still lay ahead. "You know," Liam said quietly, breaking the comfortable silence, "if someone had told me 10 years ago that I'd be standing here with you doing all this, I wouldn't have believed them." Ethan chuckled softly. "Neither would I. Life really does have a funny way of surprising us." They stood there for a while longer, watching the lights flicker on in windows across the city. Each light represented a home, a family, a dream. And somewhere among them were the sparks of innovation ignited by their work, proof that even the smallest acts of kindness and courage can illuminate the darkest corners of the world. With renewed determination, they turned back toward the bustling celebration, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. After all, their journey wasn't just about changing the world. It was about proving that change begins with a single step, taken together.